kind of reasonably interesting things at Coke, Florida. A little context there, right? We're not the Coca-Cola company. We sell the brands. We love the amazing traditions, but we are Coca-Cola Beverages Florida. It's an independent company that serves most of the state of Florida. So if you go to Disney World, you go to Universal Studios, and you buy a Coke product, it was probably manufactured in one of our facilities, sold by one of our sales folks, distributed on one of our trucks. So again, a little bit of context, there. And the reality is this, again, these guys are much smarter than I am. I wouldn't be able to explain how we use the tool any better than they have. I think they've done a good job of doing that. Again, the reality is we do have a number of applications, and the thing that we were trying to do is make sure that we could get the greatest speed to value. And we found that by using AI Squared's tool set, we could do that. Again, we had have a sales organization, about 300 folks that are dedicated to sales. And there are other people who support sales, but about 300 people are dedicated to sales. And the reality is, on any given day, any one of those folks probably have, let's just say 20 different stores that they could go to. And each one of those stores, they could have 20 different decisions that they could make. So our ability to pull insights into applications like Salesforce or from Salesforce and then into another sales application many of you may not be familiar with, but because it's really specialized to CPG industry, called Spring Mobile. But our ability to do that, was hampered simply because, we would have to have gone to, the Salesforce and so forth to get them, to make changes to those applications. So instead of getting them to make changes to the applications, we leveraged AI Squared tool set to be able to pull that information in using the reverse ATL technology that Jimmy and Ben, talked about. The thing that I would tell you, and again, this goes back to my role. I mean, I have responsibility for technology and enterprise transformation at Coke, Florida. With technology comes along with it the CIO's role. I am not a deep technologist. My real job, as I like to think about it, is really using technology to drive transformation. And we talk about that in a very specific way. The things that we do, it's got to be rooted in strategy and ultimately sustained by culture. And in between, we try to use technology and data to drive as much of the change as we can get. And the change is really across two dimensions. We're trying to change what the organization can do, but just as importantly, we're trying to change what people believe is even possible. And the reality is, I really don't want the 300 people that I described to have to worry that much about the technology itself. I want that to run as seamlessly and as silent as we possibly can get it. And so the work that we've done with AI Squared, allows us to be able to have credibility when we tell our folks, listen, we've said that we've been on this journey to be the best CPG company in the world. That's what we want them to believe. We've also said in order for us to do that, there's certain behaviors that we need everybody in their particular domain to adopt. And in order to do that, we know we've got to reinforce that with having the tools that allow them to get the reps in, right? To build the habits, because that's what drives change. It's a combination of belief, habits that will get you consistently to the behavior you want that drives to a good business outcome. And so for our organization, instead of spending our time and energy trying to figure out how to build the technology, we've partnered with AI Squared. And what I do instead is really, focus on being the change evangelist that can, again, have the appropriate capability. Because when we say we're going to do something, change what we can do, right? We're able to back that up with partners like AI Squared, which then changes what people believe. And the outcome for us has been great, right? We didn't exist 10 years ago. We started a company in 2015. At that point in time, we're about a $300 million organization. We're at $2 billion today. And in order for us to continue that growth, a lot of this is about scale. And the way that we continue to get that scale is by partnering and leveraging technology the way that Jimmy and Ben described it. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of peek into what we've done and how we've done it.
What made you decide on a platform like AI Squared for some of the challenges that you're faced with that will help solve? Why AI Squared?
A lot of it is speed. You're right.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you.
again, my hope is that I described this well enough. This is about kind of speed and credibility.
Thank you.
Right? So my intention, again, I mean, we're a relatively small organization. We don't have any intention
Yes.
of trying to duplicate what guys like you do
Yes. Thank you.
every day. So this was a lot about, again, speed and credibility. I wanted to have the credibility with the organization to say, listen, we need you to behave in a different way.
Yeah.
And again, just to put this into context, what sometimes happens, and I don't know who's in a similar organization, but the sales guy shows up. I mean, and again, they walk in the store and there's a million different choices that they can make. And what we're trying to do is to take much of that decision making out of their hands and to say, when you show up, this is the store you ought to go to, and these are the 3 or 4 things that you need to do. So we have to be able to bring that kind of insight to their fingertips quickly. And we might still be coding stuff on our own, trying to get there versus leveraging a tool that exists. And so no rocket science there. But for us, that we make, we move, we sell, we service. But at the end of the day, we're a selling organization because if we don't sell it, we're not going to have any reason to make it. And that is the thing that we had to bring to life.
I love